Hello, everybody. I'm doing my usual working in the middle of the night on genealogy thing, and I wanted to show you something really quickly. I established this person's life, and well, she was already established, but there were a lot of things that were missing. So I found the missing things, and excuse me, I connected her with her husband, and I added their son. And I want you to see how easy it is to create a brief life history just from documents. If you look at sources, we've got her in the census 2 times, then her marriage in 32, and then in 1934, the birth and death of her child who lived for 2 days. After that, we go here to Texas deaths here. And you can see by looking at and downloading the death certificate, which I did here, placed it in the memories, what she died of when she was checked into the hospital, which was July of 35, and then she died on November 28th of 1938. It says here acute mania, epilepsy, and pulmonary tuberculosis. But it gets even worse because if you look, you see that her 17-year-old brother here, A.J. Thomas, died just a year after she was checked into the hospital. So I've put together this brief life history. When Benny Leon Thomas was born, her father was 23 and her mother was 22. Benny grew up in Burnett County, Texas. There are no public records of possible careers. Her death is better documented than her life was. Benny's son, Ben Lewis Hall, was born prematurely and died after 2 days on 28 November 1934. 7 months later, in June 1935, Benny was committed to the state hospital in Abilene, Texas. While the cause of Benny's commitment is unclear, it's possible that it was due in part to grief over that loss. Her 17-year-old brother, A.J. Hall, died after 3 days of pneumonia and influenza a year later. She had reason to be distressed throughout 1936, 1937, and 1938. Benny's cause of death on 28 November 1938 was listed as acute mania and epilepsy with pulmonary tuberculosis as a contributing factor. It's possible that mania was related to the swift mood changes common in postnatal depression. Now, all I've said is that a couple of things were possible, but basically this information was drawn on census records, marriage, birth, death, and find a grave and billion graves. And so, I did the same thing with Ben Lewis Hall's death certificate as I did with hers. I pulled out the graphic and pasted it. So the saddest part of everything in poor Benny Leon Thomas Hall's life is that her death certificate shows that her parents were not known. And that's really awful. These life stories, though, are very important to try to assemble. And you can do it even if you have to either leave big gaps or say this is possible. Just simply say, I don't know when you don't know. A little background research helps. I did look up postnatal depression to see what the symptoms were and to see if it matched with anything called mania. And it does, because there are sharp mood swings and anger and aggravation as a part of it, and anxiety as well as a part of postnatal depression. So a little Google in order to figure out what was possible about her cause of death, what was possible about her commitment to the state hospital in Abilene, Texas, and, to place her illness along with her son's death and her brother's death in proper chronological and emotional perspective. That's what I've got for you tonight. I hope you're having a good one. Bye.